Welcome to my mountain. Well, this is where I come to ride my mountain bike to get a good physical workout. I burn a lot of calories, about 550 calories in 35 minutes. I like to burn calories because I love to eat. And this is also where I come to get a spiritual workout. I get my life right with God. I get wisdom and I deal with difficult decisions in my life. And several months ago, I came up here with some statistics that were really bothersome to me. I read that a child dies every 6 seconds from starvation, from hunger. Every 6 seconds. That's 10 children every minute. So if it takes me 35 minutes to ride up here, that's 350 kids that died from not eating enough food. And I'm riding up here so I can eat more food. This is kind of, disturbing to me. And then I read that there are 19,000 kids that die every single day, all under the age of 5 years old. Another statistic that just boggles my mind. I go on reading and I find out that in the United States, we throw away 1/3 of all the food we have. 1/3 goes into the trash, 1 plate and 3. So, how to reconcile all this? You read where Jesus says, he who is given much, much is required. And that's a kind of a scary thought. But I'm thinking, I don't really identify with these starving kids. So I go online on Google Images and I search starving children. And on there, you'll see all kinds of horrific pictures that'll just tear your heart out. But you'll also see some stuff up there posted by non-Christians, atheists, who are mocking God. They mock that God even exists. They mock that God answers prayer. They mock how Christians pray, how frivolous our prayers are. And they also mock that Christians even care. And at first, this bothered me, and then I started to think, well, don't they have a right to expect Christians to live up to what they're teaching, what the Bible is saying? So I'm wrestling through this, and I believe actually that there's a lot of people who choose to be atheists because simply it's easier to believe that there is no God than there's a God that would allow all this tragedy. I mean, he would have to be an evil monster. So it's just simpler to believe there's no God. So I decide I got to get alone with God. So I come up here and I ask God, where's he at in all this? And the first thing he puts on my mind and heart is that it breaks his heart that there are millions and millions of children born into this world and they never see his goodness. They never see his kindness, they never see his mercy, they never see his love, and they die. All they see is anger, they see starvation, they see pain, they see suffering, they see hopelessness, and they die. That's all they see is evil, and that breaks his heart. It equally breaks his heart that the people that he's blessed, that call themselves Christians, aren't representing him. They don't represent his love and his goodness and his mercy to that person who doesn't even have a chance to see it before they die. And that grieves his heart. If you go to Matthew chapter 25, in verse 35, Jesus is given a parable. And in that parable, he says, if you feed the hungry, you're feeding me. And what he means by that is his heart so identifies with the pain, the suffering, the hopelessness of that hungry child that he feels exactly the way they do. All of it. And he also feels when someone gives that child food, the satisfaction and the enjoyment and the kindness and the hope. He so identifies with them that when you feed that starving child, you're actually feeding Jesus. And that's why he could say that. But the opposite is also true, that if you ignore that child and you can do something, you're actually no different than ignoring Jesus. So God put on my heart to start a program that would raise money, a fundraising program called Fundraising with a Purpose. Kids no longer would sell candy and candles and cookie dough. Instead, they raise money to feed starving kids. And they also package the food themselves. It would be amazing if just Christian schools did this around the United States once a year. They would raise enough money and build enough meals to feed 300, maybe 400 million meals. And they would start a mega trend. What does God want you to do? Well, you have to do what I did. You have to get alone with God and ask Him, how does He want you to show His quality of love, selfless? You help somebody who cannot pay you back. How and where? What method? How He would use you to show His quality of love to a hurting world. One thing I know is that Christians need to work together and represent the love of Christ to a hurting world. Thank you for listening.